grab a seat, sip some wisdom, and stay a while. This is the Prosperity Lounge, where growth gets personal.
Good evening, friends. Welcome back to the Prosperity Lounge, where hope meets freedom and growth gets personal. I'm your host, Joey Ruffalo. Now, if you've been with us before, you know we've often talked financial wellness, business growth, leadership, personal development. Tonight's episode may sound a little different, but it's deeply connected because prosperity isn't just about money or success. It's about the health, safety, and future of our communities. I also want to give you a heads up. We're about to talk about something that could be sensitive for some listeners. It involves the realities of infant abandonment and the hard choices some mothers face, but it's also a story of hope, compassion, and new beginnings. So let me ask you this. What would you do if you discovered a newborn baby had been left without care, abandoned in your own community? It's a heartbreaking thought, but here in Tennessee, there's hope. Since 2001, the Safe Haven Law has given mothers in crisis a safe and legal option to surrender their babies without fear, ensuring those children are placed into loving homes instead of tragedy. Tonight, we're joined by two incredible women who have been on the front lines of this mission. Lisa Yount, co-founder of Secret Safe Place for Newborns of Tennessee, and Julie Scruggs, their executive director. Together, they'll share their powerful origin story, how the law works, and what you can do to help spread awareness. So pull up a chair, and let's welcome Lisa and Julie to the lounge. Welcome.
Hello. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
So Vance is in the other room telling me you guys got to eat the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello.
Get that media training to work. Awesome. So thank you guys for being here. Guys, generic. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Appreciate you coming on. I had the pleasure of meeting Lisa a few weeks ago at Rotary of Farragut Club meeting, where you spoke a little bit about the organization, and I was enthralled by everything going on. No idea. No idea. It was amazing. I mean, I would see the signs at places. There's like the triangle signs, that, like, you know, newborn. I don't even know what they're called, but I would see that, you know, you can surrender here signs, I guess.
A cradle sign.
Yes, stuff like that. Yeah, no idea what was going on. And when you were talking about the way the organization works and how we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm excited to get to that part. So let me back up a second. Let me get to Lisa start off with you first here.
Sure.
You had mentioned that back in 2000, there was an incident that occurred here in Blount County.
Correct.
That pushed you to, I want to say, start Secret Safe Place, but get involved, find out what's going on, what you can do to remedy the situation that occurred. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Certainly. And first of all, thank you for having Julie and myself today to share this mission. Obviously, we're going to be spreading awareness, which is the mission of our organization. Mm-hmm. But yes, in October of 2000, we had, there was a newborn found in Townsend, Tennessee, in a shed.
Wow.
And a 14-year-old teen mom had concealed her pregnancy. She delivered on her own at home alone, the baby. Mm-hmm. And in order to keep her secret and the birth of the child hidden from everyone, she hid the baby on a neighbor's property in a wooden shed.
Wow.
The baby died of severe dehydration, and the mom was later, she was prosecuted for first-degree murder and sentenced. She was found guilty and sentenced to state custody.
Wow. 14.
And then, at that time, devastated at that tragic event, my friend Shauna McConnell and myself, we had learned about a program in Mobile, Alabama. And a reporter in Mobile who had reported on a number of cases took an idea to her district attorney, and she asked him, what if a young woman was allowed to surrender her unharmed newborn to a designated safe place within a certain amount of time? Would you be able to grant her immunity from prosecution? He loved the idea. They had recently had several abandonment cases that she had reported on. And so from there, the very first program was started to offer this to young women. And then Texas followed with a law. So devastated at this news, and this information we had learned about in May of 2000 and had began to try to start something like that here. We just weren't getting the traction for it or communicating with the right people. And then in October, when that incident of abandonment happened, as sad as it is to say, that baby was a springboard to save the lives of many others. And Shauna and I reached out to our local law enforcement and our district attorneys in both Blount County and Knox County, and they jumped on board immediately too. We set up a task force and other concerned citizens with legislators, Tennessee local legislators, and formed a task force to begin the writing of the Tennessee Safe Haven Law. And that became effective July of 2001.
Okay.
But now we have a law, but are young women going to know about this law?
Sure.
So with the help of former Senator Doug Overby and Shauna McConnell's help and myself, we co-founded Secret Safe Place for Newborns of Tennessee. And our mission would be to spread awareness, educating women across communities and across the state about the safe, secret, and legal options that the safe haven laws for surrendering your unharmed baby to a designated safe place facility.
Okay. Now, you had also shared that adoption was very personal for you. And so seeing this happen in your backyard and knowing that there's alternatives, it sort of was this catalyst for you to act.
Right. For me personally, that's correct, because my own situation, my husband and I waited 10 long years before we had a beautiful baby girl. And I was never able to have a child. And so these stories of infant abandonment were really heartbreaking to hear for people in my situation that can't have children. And my own experience, my daughter, her birth mother was 14 when she got pregnant.
Wow.
She did have the support of her family, which a lot of these young ladies do not. And she knew that she was not ready to be a parent at that age. And therefore, through a mutual contact, we were contacted about see if we were interested in adopting this baby when it was born. And obviously, we jumped at the chance. And so within a year of deciding God had a different plan for us, we had a newborn baby. Once we decided adoption was going to be the way for us, we had that precious little girl, brought her home at 3 days old.
Wow.
So when you see these and hear these stories, it's so senseless because there's so many people out there that would love to parent these babies.
Yeah, and you had that connection of seeing a 14-year-old in your own situation is very similar.
Absolutely.
And so it's even cuts a little deeper.
Absolutely.
You had mentioned, and we'll get into this a little bit too, you had mentioned that Mobile, Alabama, and Texas was being one of the first early adopters of the law. I think Texas was the first one to get the law passed.
Right.
I did some research.
Right, you did. Good job.
Tennessee fits in 2001, and I think you had mentioned in our pre-interview that we were sort of an early adopter. We were one of the first few states, not the first couple, but maybe the first 10 or 12
right.
to get stuff done. And I believe, I could be wrong, by 2008, the majority of states have had something on the books.
And now there are all 50 states plus
states.
D.C. and Puerto Rico
Yeah.
Right.
now have their own version of the law. And all of them, well, not all of them are the same.
Sure, yeah.
Different states have different number of days.
I was reading that too.
For surrenders, yes.
Yeah. Again, something I'll probably bring up again, chat and audience later. But I was doing some of the research. Nebraska had one that was 18 years old, if I was not mistaken. They revised it to 45 days now, but it was on the books that you can surrender up to 18 years. I thought that was just kind of crazy.
I cannot speak to the safe haven law in Nebraska.
Right.
But
Right.
I was doing some research myself earlier this week, and I can't remember what state it was, but I did see a state, I think the longest surrender period that I saw was up to a year.
I did see
A
that.
year,
Yeah,
right.
there's one or two states that were a year. South Dakota and some other. I wrote it. I've written down
Yes.
somewhere. South Dakota. Some other
I know
state,
it was
yeah.
a northern
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
Right.
Northwest.
Was a year, and then there's some that are. And again, I'm anxious to talk about. Some are 3 days,
Right.
72 hours, and some are 72 hours with cooling off periods. Some are 72 hours and no cooling off periods. Some are. Every state has a different law.
Right.
So let me ask this first because I'm going to forget it later. Do mothers have the ability to cross state lines?
Yes, they do.
But they have to abide by the state they're going into.
Yes, and that is a very good point because she needs to make sure she's looked at the law for the
Yeah.
state that she plans to
'Cause you
surrender
might
her
be
newborn.
here,
Because
have the 45 days
yes,
and the 30-day
yes.
cooling off period, go to Kentucky, and it's 30 days
Exactly.
and nothing, and then you're like, ugh.
Exactly. Originally, our law was the 3-day period.
Yeah.
And in 2020, it was amended, and the time frame was extended to 14 days. Most recently, in July 1 of 2025, it was amended again and extended to 45 days.
Okay. Now, let me bring Julie in on this here. Julie's the executive director now. Your story is a little bit different. You stepped in more recently.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background in HR and what first, how you felt called to step into this work.
Yes. So I started working with a secret safe place in November of 2024. At a young age, my parents instilled service in my heart. So myself and my family included, we have all been very involved in our community and giving back. And at an early age, I recognized when I saw a gap or a need, if I was able to do that, then I was going to be stepping in that place. So at the time, I had been working in human resources for 7 years. I absolutely loved my job. I was very comfortable, loved getting up and going to work every day. But I had been talking with a gentleman that I went to church with. We were at church one Wednesday night in small group, and he had on a Secret Safe Place shirt. And so I said, Kyle, tell me, like, what's a Secret Safe Place? So he told me about the organization and their mission, and he actually was serving on the board of directors at the time. Wow. And I had always known that Tennessee had a law that protected mothers and gave them the option to be able to surrender their newborn without fear of being prosecuted, but I didn't know that there was an organization that advocated for this law. And so after he shared that with me, I immediately knew that I was going to be involved with a secret safe place for newborns of Tennessee. I just didn't know how or when. I had a lot of other things going on at the time that I was involved in, and I knew that the day would come when I would be involved in the organization. And so I put it in the back of my mind, and I waited. It was probably about a year after that conversation with him that he reached back out to me, and he said, "Hey, we are hiring for an executive director, and I think you would be a great fit." Wow. So I submitted my resume. I went through the interview process, and here we are over 6 months later.
Wow. So this is kind of a two-parter now. What surprised you most about the work that their two were doing when you were in that year process? Obviously, you probably saw it, got some research, kind of looked it up a little bit, figured what they were doing. What surprised you most about the work they were doing? And then once you got into the role, what's been the most eye-opening part of the mission so far?
Yes. So I didn't realize, we kind of, Lisa mentioned this already, that the law says that mothers have the option to safely and confidentially surrender at a designated safe haven facility. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what all of these facilities were in our state, and I didn't know that this organization was who was training and equipping these facilities and providing materials to them. In the event that a surrender were to happen, they would be knowledgeable and equipped and know what to tell the mother in this moment of crisis. They are, they're medical professionals that these women are surrendering their newborn to, and they know how to take care of a newborn. Mm-hmm. We're not telling them how to do that because we know that they already know, but we are telling them, making sure that they are trained on verbally telling that mother what her rights and her options are under the law. And do you mind to repeat the second part of the question?
Once you got in there, what's been the most eye-opening part of the mission so far?
People in our community, in these safe haven facilities, they rely on us. They turn to us with questions and asking for help as far as resources go. And so it has, been amazing to see these facilities reaching out to us, and just it's a great feeling to know that they know that we exist, and they know and support what we're doing, and they want to partner with us as well to save lives.
The mission itself of the organization has changed from something getting a law passed, because most people, it's hard to get a law passed, but there's never really a step two to the process to get the law passed. Okay, we're done. Now what? So the law gets passed, and now we have to help people understand it, support it, educate them, and now it's a whole thing of itself. Mm-hmm. So that's been. At least you've probably seen that change over 25 years as well.
It's taken a village to get where we are today.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's changed most since the early days?
Just amazing, especially with how we do awareness with social media. That's just huge in itself. Yeah. We do Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and to reach that target audience, which 12 to 25-year-olds, they are the ones that are tuned in to social media.
Sure.
So we have to stay relevant. We even have a committee that is mostly the age group, young, college age, a little bit older, to 30, and they keep us relevant with today in the best ways to spread awareness, the creativity, and how can we stay relevant to each, with each generation, because every year there's another group of young ladies that has to hear this message.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially with the message and the subject matter, it's not something that you can go out there and do a TikTok dance to. Right?
Well, we try.
we have before. We have.
Yes, we have.
Okay. I take that back.
Just ask Sarah.
All right.
No, she's
What a surprise.
done a great job.
Man, okay. So let's shift gears and actually get into the law itself for a little bit here and how people can help. So we talked about the law being passed in 2001. How does the law actually work in Tennessee? How long does the mother have to surrender a newborn? And either one of you, feel free to jump in.
So under the Tennessee Safe Haven law, a mother has 45 days from the day of birth to safely and confidentially surrender her unharmed newborn at any designated safe haven facility. There are over 1,500 facilities in the state of Tennessee, and those include your hospitals, birthing centers, EMS stations, police and fire stations that are staffed 24/7, walk-in clinics, most recently nursing homes in rural select communities only where healthcare isn't as accessible, and then 911 centers that opt in. So 911 centers are the only facility that have the option to say yes or no to being a safe haven facility. All of the other facilities that I just listed per the law are required.
Okay, so you talked about the rural communities for the nursing homes. The nursing homes in a city like Knoxville necessarily no, because there's other options.
Correct. Yes.
Facilities, areas where there's rural, where there might be volunteer fire departments and not something that's staffed 24/7.
Right.
Nursing homes are an option because there's somebody there 24/7.
Right. Right.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Lisa, you had mentioned in your Rotary chat that the option to call 911, have an ambulance come with sirens off at an undisclosed location to meet up so it doesn't cause a big people looking out the window what's going on kind of to do, and they'll take you to one of the facilities and kind of help facilitate the transfer.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
That has always been since the beginning. They've had that option.
Okay.
And that's huge for young women or for women who are in rural areas. They've always had this option.
Okay. Now, is that just for rural, or can
No,
somebody
that's
hear
everywhere.
calls? Okay.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes,
Love that.
our crisis line or our helpline is monitored by Rural Metro, and we have trained people that monitor that. And so if she calls 911 or calls that helpline and requests transfer, yes, they will come out and meet her at whatever location, wherever she wants them to meet her. And yes, all lights, sirens off. They pick her up and take her to the location facility that she requests.
Great. So what does the process look like when they walk into the facility? Because again, I was reading a lot of different things online from different places trying to get abreast of the law in different states.
Right.
The mother is the one that does the transfer.
Always has to be, the mother has to be the one to surrender the newborn. We
Okay.
have to know she is the one surrendering her rights to the baby.
Okay.
When she comes in to a facility, a staff member there will automatically, once the young lady shares with her that she's here to surrender her baby under the Safe Haven law, they request that she follow them to a private room. Hopefully she will. There's a mother's packet that they will pull out. It's got instructions for the staff, and it also has information for the mother. But there are hospital bracelets that you've seen them when you go in the hospital, and they have a number on them, and that number is put on information in that packet that follows that baby through the whole adoption process. One of those bracelets is put on the baby's wrist, and the other is placed on the baby's ankle.
Okay.
The other two are given to the mother, one for herself and one to give the father, should she choose to give that to him. And then and first when they come in, which is hugely important too, a staff member can get a visual of the mother and the baby and automatically see if they're under stress or duress, or if there's a medical condition that needs to be addressed right away, then they can offer that to her.
Okay.
At that point, and they do.
Good.
So once all that has been addressed, and there's a health history form that they'll give her, and they request that if she would just take that and complete that, because there's that is hugely important for an adoptive family to be able to
I know a little bit about the background, health history, stuff like that. Yeah.
Illnesses and diseases. So there's a envelope included that's stamped that she can, if she'll just fill that information out, place it in the envelope, and put the address of the DCS where she, in the county where she surrendered the baby. All that information is in the packet, so she just can put, easily fill that in, and then drop it in the mailbox. Then that follows that baby through the whole adoption process. And once all that's completed, and they've told her her rights, because she has 30 days to change her mind, and that's hence the bracelet. She can contact DCS within that 30-day period, bring that bracelet. They, of course, match that number. They're going to also want to do DNA tests to make sure that she is the mother of the baby. She will have to go through the legal process to get the baby back, and probably, and I believe they do insist that she does some parenting classes. So yes, then she, after that process is done, can
so this is why education is important to follow the law, because I was reading with one of the states, and again, this could be updated or out of date, but it sounded like the facility you surrendered your baby at is the facility you needed to return to. And it sounds like here, once it's surrendered, you can call DCS and start the process.
Yeah, normally we would suggest that they contact the DCS in the county the baby was surrendered. And to finish your question, once all that has been completed and they've gone over all that information, the 911 is contacted, and a member of that facility will accompany the baby to the hospital. And at the same time, they will contact DCS to let them know that they've had a surrender, and that party will meet them at the hospital. The baby's admitted, it's giving an exam, complete medical exam, admitted overnight, and the next day, normally, if all is well and the baby's medically released, then DCS takes custody of the baby, and the baby is then placed in what we established, we worked out with DCS that it is the forever home. These families have already been vetted and gone through the home studies and are on the list, ready and waiting for that call. And
this is the first place, last place principle.
This is what we call first place, last place. Yes,
okay.
And that first 30-day period, it's my understanding that is kind of termed a little just for 30 days of the foster, but then past that, They are
'Cause there's
still
still the
going
unknown
to be,
period in
yes,
that
yes,
process
there's that
that's going
30-day
on.
period. She can change her mind.
Right. Okay.
So, and then, but still, they remain with that same family.
Yes.
And
Okay.
after that 90-day period, that adoption process begins.
Okay.
And what is important to mention about what Lisa said is that when a newborn is surrendered and DCS is working to find a permanent adoptive home, with the exception of one baby that we have been made aware of, all babies that have been surrendered under the Safe Haven law have been adopted. So that is a big milestone and something to celebrate.
And I believe it's 140.
140, and not only is that 140 babies to celebrate, but that's 140 young women who have been given the option, a safe, secret option, and now she can move on with her life as she had hoped to and get over this crisis. And then there's the 140 families that get to be blessed with these newborn babies. So it's kind of the
Absolutely.
perfect trifecta there for me.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Now, a lot of people like myself, before I heard your talk, heard about the Safe Haven baby boxes. What's the difference between the baby boxes itself and the broader Safe Haven law that you guys focus on and what you guys do? Is there an overlap, connection, or is it just educate me?
Yes. Okay. So Safe Haven Baby Boxes is a national organization that has a very similar mission of ending newborn abandonment and giving mothers that safe and confidential option to be able to surrender their newborn in what the Tennessee Safe Haven law refers to as a newborn safety device. So it is because of the Safe Haven law that mothers do have these options or has that option. It is there more so as a last resort, for that mother that can just does not want to walk in to a facility. She has that option
So
of a
it's sort of
box.
an elimination of a barrier to this process.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but the law itself, you had said earlier, something that caught my attention was surrendering under the law. So going in and saying, I'm surrendering under the Safe Haven law. When a child or a baby is surrendered in the box, does that law still apply? Do they still get the
Absolutely.
30 days? Do they still get the
Yes.
up to 45 days kind of thing in that process?
Yeah. If they changed their mind and decided to reclaim the newborn.
Is there and maybe you could speak on this too, is there a process when that happens where sounds like you guys, when they go through Safe Haven law and the way it's set up in the state and how you guys have it set, the firehouses and the police departments and everything, the process that happens with the tracking and the medical bracelets and everything, does that process still occur, or is it a lot harder when there's a box involved because might just be a last ditch effort to go and remain anonymous where
Right. It is
Yeah.
it is a little more difficult because you don't know if she's even taken that mother's packet either until after.
or who
it
actually
is there
surrendered. It
for
might not
her,
even be the
but-
mother surrendering at that point because you don't know.
Yes, and
Okay.
that does open up a little bit different situation.
But the reclaiming part would still be the same process. They'd still
Absolutely.
submit to a DNA test.
Going
It's still a-
Absolutely,
DCS.
everything
Okay.
else is still the same.
Yeah.
DCS gets involved right away.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
just to be clear, that organization, I know we are grateful for the awareness that it has brought to the Tennessee Safe Haven law, because like you said, you weren't even aware of the past 24
Yeah.
years that
Not even-
we
it's
have
crazy.
been around, and the over 1,500 facilities that we've already trained and educated and provided materials for on an ongoing basis.
Because I
And-
remember recently in Knox County when they installed them, was maybe within the last 2 time frames.
Yes,
within
yes,
2 years.
I-
And then there was a big news article when the first one was. When
Right.
the alarms went off when the first one was in
Right,
there. We
because-
reported on it. And I was like, oh, wow, it seems
Yeah.
2024 seems like a really long time.
If you go to our website, we have a facility map that a mother can type in the city that she is in or that area code. And if it is a facility with a newborn safety device, it's going to notate that. So the mother would know that option is available as well.
And the website is www.secretsafeplacetn.org.
Yes,
Correct.
thank you.
Perfect. Secretsafeplacetn.org. Outstanding. Okay. Can you share a little bit now how you guys are expanding your reach across Tennessee? You guys are locally out of here and out of, pardon everybody who's lived here for a really long time, Merville.
Blount County.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't want to say Maryville, so Merville, Blount County. You're building these new task force around the
Yes.
state. I was reading Tri-Cities, Chattanooga, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Clarksville, Memphis, just all over.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what that looks like and what you guys are trying to accomplish from building those task forces.
Absolutely. So, yes, while we were founded and located in Blount County, our organization is statewide. We are not only educating Blount County, we are educating the entire state of Tennessee. And that has its challenges. And so within the past year, we have started a new initiative of creating and forming these task forces statewide. And our hope is that they will be able to do what we are doing in their own areas, essentially an extension of us. And so, as you've mentioned, we have a group going in the Tri-Cities area. We already have volunteers ready to go in Chattanooga, Clarksville, Nashville, Murfreesboro, and Memphis. Did I forget any?
I don't think so.
I wrote them all down here.
I
Yeah.
think you got
So
it.
these will be more like satellite offices in the sense, community places where
Yes.
people can get in their initial community, but everything kind of still runs through you guys at the,
Yes,
at the state office.
they will still, report back to us.
Sure.
And we will absolutely still be there to help them and train them. But we need help.
Boots on the ground, for sure.
Need boots in the ground in those areas.
Right. They are not board members. They are considered committee members. Yes. So volunteers, and it's going quite well. We're excited to see the progress
Yeah.
that they're making.
It's amazing.
We recently hired a regional speaker, Lori McCarty, in the Tri-Cities area, and she has already, I think she's officially started within the past 2 weeks, and she has done some amazing things that I don't think we would have been able to do if we were not there.
Yeah, I was going to be my next question about the challenges in building awareness statewide, but it sounds like you guys are working that out.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're getting the hang of it. We have a plan.
That's awesome.
We're going the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you got some exciting events coming up this fall. Can you share what's on the calendar? I got a couple of dates here. September 8th is the next one. This is a Serves That Save tennis tournament.
Yes,
Right.
Serves That Save is
Wow.
our women's tennis tournament,
Okay.
and that will be on September 8th at the Knoxville Racket Club. And we are very excited about this year's tournament because it is our 10th annual tournament.
Ooh.
So it'll be a fun day full of fun competition, food, goodie bags, lots of free prizes, and ultimately coming together as a collective group to celebrate our mission and the 140 lives that have been saved since the law was
Nice.
enacted.
Now, I'm going to go a little bit out of order here because I want to save one here. December 13th is the Santa Baby fundraiser with family photos.
Yes. So that is a new fundraiser this year, and we are going to be hosting that at First Baptist Maryville, and we'll have cookies and hot chocolate, and families will be able to come and bring their kids and get their picture made with Santa.
I was going to say,
or
here
even
somebody
if,
might be showing
even
up.
if they want their picture with Santa, you are absolutely 100% welcome to join us. I will be getting my picture made with Santa.
Me
love
too.
Santa and I
Poor
have
Santa.
Yeah.
He's going to
Yeah.
be worn out.
Santa and I have a long history. Now, the one I wanted to save here is the November 1st, Newborns in Neyland, Tennessee-Oklahoma game.
Yes.
I am 99. My wife's looking in the other. I am 99.9% attending the Tennessee-Oklahoma game.
Well,
Awesome.
She's an Oklahoma fan. Tennessee
well,
first.
I noticed, I see the power T on your wedding band.
But
so
she's, before moving here, she was 100% Oklahoma. Since moving here, she's 99% Oklahoma, 100% Tennessee.
Okay.
We actually
well,
went out. We went out last year to the game in Oklahoma. We drove out to watch the game, so we're excited
to welcome them to the SEC.
Yeah. It's
Well, maybe I think our tailgate on November 1st
you have to
will
come.
officially convert her to be 100%
Okay.
Tennessee Vols fan. So we will gather in Circle Park for our 3rd annual Newborns and Neyland tailgate. We will have Chick-fil-A will be catering. We'll have moon pies, drinks. We'll have a TV in our tent. So maybe if you don't
Wow.
have tickets to go into the game, you can,
So you can just hang out and watch
hang
it.
out and watch the game with
Eat
us.
Chick-fil-A all day.
And eat Chick-fil-A all day. Nothing better.
I love it.
I also want to mention with that event that is put on by our relevancy committee that Lisa mentioned. And the week of the tailgate, we will be on campus at UTK inviting students
Cool.
to come and spend the day with us.
Nice.
So,
For listeners, how can they get involved? Is there volunteering options, donating, sponsorship availabilities? Like, how can they help spread the word on some of these events and get involved?
absolutely. So, money's always great.
Yeah.
We do, we're accepting sponsorships for our tennis tournament through August 28th. We'll also have sponsors for the tailgate to cover the cost and for Santa Baby as well. So if you feel led to sponsor one of our events, please reach out to us. You can go to our website and click the donate button to get that process started. As far as donations go, so we are going to be participating in a children's consignment sale next year. Well, it's not just children's clothes, it's home goods as well. And so we have started to collect gently used baby clothes, home goods that maybe you're doing your cleaning out your closet and you want to get rid of, because we're going to be placing those items in a consignment sale, and based on what we sell, we will be receiving 70% of
Wow.
those proceeds.
That's awesome.
So that's a way if you're looking to donate. And then, of course, we always need volunteers. We've already mentioned the task force. And so if you are outside of the Maryville-Knoxville area and you're wanting to get involved with us, the task force would be a great place to start.
Awesome.
You can also share any posts that we have on social media. That's always a big help. And really word of mouth. You can't beat word of mouth. You never know who you might share this message with, then who might share it with someone else who really needs it. So
Absolutely. And that takes me right to my next little thinker. No, it's a perfect segue. I love when the guests do that for me. It's awesome. So we got powerful, real opportunities for Tennesseans to step up and protect the most vulnerable. So be sure to visit www.secretsafeplacetn.org. Everything will be in the show notes if you're watching or listening later, to learn more about what opportunities are available and how to get plugged in. Speaking of opportunities, I want to pause here for just a second and remind our listeners that if you're listening right now, here's your chance to take action in your own life for your own prosperity journey. Head over to theprosperitylounge.com. There you'll find free resources like our 8-step guide to stop living paycheck to paycheck, our student loan survival guide, and the Prosperity Planner budgeting tool, which is free for 30 days. It's a great tool. Get in there. It's awesome. And while you're there, join the community. It's free to get in. It's a free community space. You'll never miss an episode. You'll never miss connecting with people. If you're listening on the radio right now, or you're listening on your favorite podcast app, head over to YouTube to the Prosperity Lounge. Subscribe, like, comment on tonight's episode. Give us some positive feedback. And you can always check out the episodes later on any of your favorite podcast networks, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Amazon Music, YouTube, and I could just go on and on and on and on and on. But anyway, there's plenty of resources and plenty of ways for you to connect and get the information you need out there. And most importantly, share tonight's episode. You never know who in your circle may need this information. So now getting back to Julie and Lisa here. Anytime we're talking about laws that deal with life, family choices, there's bound to be some misconceptions. And so I'm going to address a few of those head on right now. All right, here we go.
Let's go.
Welcome.
We're ready.
When critics say, or people tell you, doesn't this law just encourage abandonment? How do you respond to something like that? How do you hit back?
I think this law, does it encourage abandonment? I don't think the idea of having to or getting pregnant, hiding a baby, trying to keep a pregnancy hidden for 9 months, secretly delivering it, possibly on your own, and then hiding it somewhere in hopes that it's never found. I don't think that is really encouraging.
You're not making a plan to do that.
Anyone
right? Yeah.
to want
gotcha.
to,
Yeah.
abandon. Yes, I don't think
Yeah.
this encourages.
Some people always think there's
the
nefarious reasons why. Like there's, if you're gonna, we lower the drinking age 18, all the 18-year-olds are gonna get drunk, and whatever the rules may be or the laws may be. So they figure if this is just another option, yeah, people are just gonna abandon their kids all the time. I mean, we joked earlier about Nebraska being up to 18
Right.
at one point. Tell your 17-year-old you better behave or else.
Shape up.
Right.
And Joey, we don't know the circumstances of these women.
Right.
What we do know is that they are in a place where they're scared. They probably feel alone, like they don't have anywhere to turn. And this law is there to not only protect their baby, but to protect them.
Absolutely.
And to allow the baby to go on to have a successful future.
Yeah, we talked recently, a couple episodes, and it seems to be a running theme here, I don't know, about isolation. When I was going through our debt struggles a long time ago, I found out that debt thrives in isolation, right? When you're by yourself. Had a guest last week that is a recovering alcoholic, and her addiction thrived in isolation. Nobody to turn to, and you find the right people to connect with to guide you out of that, whether it ends up being a mentor or somebody you find, or the church or faith or somebody. You guys are an organization. You guys are there so people don't feel isolated, aren't alone in the process. There is somebody that they can reach out to.
Right.
So they have an option.
Right.
And they have somebody to talk to.
And kind of going back to the beginning when, you asked me how I got involved with the organization, I, was waiting for something to go to the front lines for and to be that voice. And I immediately knew, when I was told, these are mothers coming from, very hard situations, that I wanted to step in the gap and be able to go to the front lines for them and
That's important.
put that resource and that message out there.
That's important, for sure.
I think this law gives these young women hope. Absolutely hope for, like she said, this is a solution. When I put myself in their shoes, I grew up in the 70s as a teenager, and the background is a strict Christian family, and my parents put the fear of God in me that was not an option here. And if that happened to you, you might as well keep on walking. I know I had that conversation recently with my aunts, and they just kind of chuckled about that. But yes, and before we even started this, Sean and I often had these conversations when we would hear these stories in the news that, oh my gosh, there's got to be an option for these young ladies. I mean, yes, there's adoption for the mother who is willing. Everyone knows and is excited about her baby, but for this young lady that, for whatever reasons, she's desperate to keep it secret.
Sure.
She's cornered, and she has no option left. This is the thing that gives her hope that yes, this is for me. This is going to be my alternative to get through this crisis.
Now, one other, as you can see by my paperwork, I have a ton of other questions, and we're getting close to our time. So we'll get through some of these real fast here. But one of the other questions, and again, it kind of goes back to, does it encourage abandonment on one side of the equation? The other side is this being used as an alternative for abortion?
Well, now with the abortion laws that have changed, this really is her only option to keep it secret.
Secret. Sure.
And obviously, we don't want her to do anything to harm herself. But now that abortion laws have changed, yes, we have seen an uptake in our numbers in the last couple of years. And I'm excited. I mean, I'm happy that we have this option for them. For that lady, for that young woman who is still gonna, whatever her reasons are, is determined to keep this
And with the
secret.
projections like you're talking about, that's why it's more important now than ever to have those task force in place statewide,
Absolutely.
have the information being spread out there, have people know
And with the
what's going
law
on.
changing in July,
Yes.
Exactly.
changing from
So now
14 to
there's more,
45 days.
There's a larger pool of potential surrenders at that point because
Right.
it's more days.
And for different reasons.
Yeah, exactly, different reasons. How do you address the stigma that sometimes surrounds safe haven surrenders? Have you seen that at all? Is there a stigma around that?
I have not.
Okay.
I've not. In fact, I walked into a bank not too long ago requesting a sponsorship donation, and I had the bank official go, "Yes, come on back. We're gonna get you that sponsorship." He said, "My child is a safe haven baby."
Wow.
And that warmed my heart. I can't tell you
That's
how
awesome.
much. And he's thrilled. I'm thrilled, right? And of course, that mother, wherever she is out there, is thrilled knowing that she's done the right thing.
Yeah.
She's made a brave choice, and she's made a life-saving choice for that baby.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I had a question in the chat here that said, and I think we addressed this, but East Tennessee fire stations have the newborn drop-off boxes.
Some do, yes.
I know there are I think there's over 10 in
Okay.
East Tennessee.
Well, and 20 throughout the
Yes,
state.
throughout the entire state.
Yeah. Okay. So one of my favorite parts of the episode is our question and answer section. So I got a couple questions that came in from people in the chat, people through email, Instagram messaging, Facebook messaging, just all over. I filtered some of the best ones. Some of them we answered already, but so we got a little bit of time left here, so let's kind of get through a few of these, and either one of you can answer. It's not a problem. This one says for Julie, actually.
Okay.
Ooh. This is from Taylor in Nashville. I heard the safe haven law was updated this summer. What changed, and what do mothers need to know?
Yes, so mothers need to know that effective July 1st of 2025, they now have 45 days from the date of birth to safely and confidentially surrender their newborn at any designated safe haven facility without fear of judgment or prosecution.
Great. Denise from Knoxville happened to ask, and this is a question I had up here earlier, what happens if the father wants to claim the child? How does he even find out? What role does the father play in all of this?
Do you want to answer
Oh,
that?
either
Well,
one.
DCS is legally, per the law, states that they have to run a segment in the paper, and of course the paper is digital.
Not everyone reads
as
the
well.
newspaper
I know not
anymore.
everybody sees it, but there's no perfect answer for this. But they are required to run a notice, a public notice, that there has been a baby surrendered in what county and where.
Okay.
And they give a little bit of a description and time frame that the baby was surrendered, and tell them that if you, for any reason, think that you could be the father of the baby and wish to parent the child, to contact them. And of course, they're going to do necessary DNA tests and so
Sure,
forth,
sure.
and follow for the
So there is an
follow-through
option in that
Yes,
surrender
yes, there
period for the
is.
father or the father's family
for that 30-day
to
period.
take.
Yes,
Yes.
the father, if he is wanting to reclaim the baby and oversee the care, there is a process that DCS would follow. He would just need to reach out to DCS.
Okay. This, and you may know this or not, and if I'm out of turn, please put me in my place. Let's say in that situation, I assume it probably hasn't occurred much, if at all, yet. But let's say it has. DCS has a process in place. Father takes over the custody. I'm assuming based on the averages and everything, it's probably a young father. Is there support involved for them as well after the fact, or is it, do they have, you guys are on your own?
Oh no, there definitely is support out
Okay.
there. We have pregnancy resource centers across our state.
And that's not just for women. It's
Correct. Yeah. I know our pregnancy resource center provides care and resources not just for the mother, but for that father as well.
interesting. It's good to know. It's very good to know. Michael from Chattanooga sent in, are there counseling or support services for mothers from their baby? I think we just answered that, Michael. Yes, that's
And
fair.
one thing I want to add on to that is when a surrender occurs and that safe haven facility is providing that mother with resources, one thing that she receives is a list of pregnancy resources in every region with their contact information that she can reach out to if she feels like she needs help.
Okay. And then Sarah just messaged here and said, how can my community start one of these task forces you mentioned? Is there an opportunity for community involvement, or they just reach out to you guys and get involved through you?
Yes, please email us. We would love to talk to you, Sarah.
Perfect. Well,
I think you're going to mention.
we did it. We're at the top
You're
of
going
the
to
hour.
mention the email, or I can.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Info at
Here.
secretsafeplace10.org.
Info at secret safe. It's not a secret safe place. TN.
Yes, it is.
Secret safe place.
Well,
the
yes.
organization is a secret.
Yes.
But the website is Secret Safe Place TN.
Yes.
Gotcha. I made sure in my head I said it a million times that it doesn't have an A in front of it. Everything will be in the notes, show notes, description on the YouTube channel. I'll share everything on social media. If you're not following, please follow Prosperity Lounge on Instagram, JR Financial Coach on Instagram, follow Joey Ruffalo on Facebook, follow the Prosperity Lounge on everywhere. I even have a TikTok too, where I just repost stuff. I don't dance. But anyway. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you both for the incredible work you do and joining us tonight in the Prosperity Lounge. Friends, remember, prosperity begins with protecting the most vulnerable. Secret Safe Place has already helped over 140 newborn lives, and with your support, that impact will only grow. Visit www.secretsafeplace.org. Oh, secretsafeplacetn.org. Gosh,
You got it. You got it.
Email them at info@secretsafeplacetn.org And they even have a crisis helpline number, and the number is 866-699-7233. That's 866-699-7233. If you found value in this episode, share it. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more, and join the conversation at theprosperitylounge.com. Join us next week when my guest will be Knox County Mayor and WWE Hall of Famer Glenn Jacobs for an interesting conversation on leadership. Until next time, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough. This is the Prosperity Lounge.
Pull up a chair. The journey's